Hey guys, what's up? It's Nick here with What I'm Watching, and today I'm here to talk about the film Dead Hooker in a Trunk. Now, everybody knows that this movie isn't new. It came out a few years ago, but I just recently saw it for the first time last night, so we're going to talk about it. It basically followed the story of four main characters who were aptly named Junkie. When I found myself enjoying the film. But there's quite a bit that went into this movie that I want to talk about. Let's see, where should we start? I guess we'll talk about the characters first. I thought that the characters were very interesting. We'll start with the junkie, played by Ricky Gang. This little short-haired chick who kind of reminded me of some of the people I hang out with in real life. And her character was hooking up with the badass character. They were like lezzing out together. And then she also had a boyfriend who she was in a dysfunctional relationship with, and they were both heroin addicts. And then you have the character of the geek, played by Jen Soska, who basically they put glasses on her and voila, she's a geek. So, you know, they kind of made fun of that in one of the little parody movies, but it's like, oh my god, look at those glasses. That's basically what they did with this movie. And her boyfriend was the goody two-shoes, played by C.J. Wallace, and he also did some of the effects work on this movie. But basically, the interesting character about C.J. Wallace's character, the goody two-shoes, is that he plays a Christian, and you know what? Usually in genre films, Christians and anybody of any kind of religious affiliation are kind of made to look like idiots and stuff like that. And in this movie, I think they showed people who believe in God in a positive light. And I'm a Christian. I don't, you know, and every time I see shit in genre films, upside down crosses and all this, that, and the other, none of that shit bothers me. But I don't force my beliefs on anyone. But I just thought it was cool that they showed it in a positive light in this film. And that was seen in the scene where he gets into the cab and the cab driver's God, and it was really cool, you know. And well, enough of that. And then we get to the character of the badass, and that's played by Sylvia Soska. Now I know the Soska sisters are. They also directed this film. Everybody knows that. But you know, they're supposed to be identical twins, but I think Sylvia is way hotter than Jen. But that's a whole other issue. But anyway, the badass character, you know, is basically this chick who just is kind of a bully and just, you know, it's her way or the highway. And throughout the movie, she's kicking ass and killing people and this, that, and the other. And her character, it was like a love-hate relationship for me on this one, because half the time I liked her, half the time I hated her. And that was the way with a lot of these characters. It showed all their flaws, because none of these people are very nice or good people at all. But, you know, throughout the movie they start to become better people, I think. And so it's kind of a character study, which I enjoyed. But this was an indie film for sure, and I think they were able to do a lot with a little. And there was plenty of gore in it, which surprised me, because I went into this movie not knowing what it was about. I knew there was a dead hooker in a trunk. You know, catchy name. That's probably one of the biggest points of this film, was they capitalized on a cute name. You know what I'm saying? People were like, oh, you know, it sounds cool, I'll watch it. And a lot of people did. But it was a good movie, so I'm not taking away from that. I liked how they did a lot of the lighting effects in some of the scenes where the characters would go like all red, the lights would go all red, and they would kind of go into another world and the music would slow down, like the scene where she's talking to the hotel manager and she's like shaking her hair and looking like a shampoo model. You know, stuff like that. Really, the artistic touches really added to this film and increased its value, in my opinion. I think there's a lot of scenes in the movie that were kind of oddball, but you gotta take into account that this movie, where it takes place, the whole universe of this film, it's its own story, like almost like a comic book or a manga, because like a girl gets her arm chainsawed off and then they sew it back on, you know what I'm saying, and then she goes to the doctor and she's fine, and then another chick gets her eyeball knocked out of her head and she just puts some tape over it and it's fine. So there was a lot of you know, it was not a world of reality. It was kind of a surreal world where in between reality and fantasy, and where there was just enough of each to make it an enjoyable watch. So, but I gotta say, there's a conversation in the movie that was really interesting, where you could look at the different levels of it. They're all in the car together, and the junkie's saying that the car is purgatory, and that they're riding through hell, trying to see if they'll make it to heaven. And you know, she like makes a comment about the goody two shoes, saying, you know, you've never done anything, so they're gonna put you in situations to see if you really are a good person, or if you're just being good for the sake of being good. And there's a lot of depth to the writing to this movie, despite all the funniness and the grindhouse and the comical aspects and this, that, and the other. It had a lot to offer. And I've already seen their second movie, American Mary. These movies are in two totally different leagues, in my opinion. This movie was way better than American Mary. And let's see, what else? Let me check my notes here. What else can I talk about? I think that's about it. Dead Hooker in a Trunk follows the story of the four friends that I've discussed. They find a dead hooker in the trunk, and they're trying to figure out what to do to get rid of the body, because the badass and the junkie don't know if they had something to do with it, because they're always getting drunk and getting high. So, and the nerd sister, though, is always calling the cops on them, which there's so, like I said, the line between fantasy and reality blends a lot, because there's a lot of scenes in the movie like, okay, why is her sister calling the cops on her? And then the cops show up, and it instantly turns into the badass seducing the cops and then tying them up naked on the bed. I mean, there's a lot of breaks in reality from this movie. But I am a person who doesn't like reality-based films, so this was a welcome thing for me. You know what I'm saying? I liked the outlandishness of this film, but it was a fun ride. It keeps going all the way through to the end. It has very good writing. There was one of the conversations, though, that was kind of a scene that was really odd. I don't know if anybody else thought was odd, but after they're getting ready to bury her, and she pops up, so you know, and the badass hits her with a shovel. It was just a reaction, you know what I'm saying? She freaked out. So they don't really know if it was like a spasm, or if she actually just killed the chick, the hooker. But then they're all sitting down after that, you know, and they built a campfire, get stoned, and just start laughing about it. And it was a very weird conversation, a very weird moment in the film, and I don't know, it was strange. But this movie was very artsy. It was very well written, good cinematography, good effects. An interesting story, and like I said, the acting at the beginning was kind of shit, but the more that the story progressed, you get pulled into it, so you don't care about the acting as much, and it kind of pulls itself together, and it's an entertaining watch. Is it the best movie ever made? No, but it is a damn good watch, and I would recommend it. I'd say I'd give it a 4 out of 5. And I wasn't even planning on making a video for this, but I watched it and I enjoyed it so much that I thought it was worth talking about. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and this is Nick from What I'm Watching, and I'll see you next time. Actually, no, I won't see you next time, because let me go ahead and throw a quick shout out in here. I gotta give it up to my boy Jack Bateman. If you don't know who he is a YouTube reviewer who's very active in the indie horror scene, and he's in a lot of groups that I'm in. And this dude gave me a shout out in his last video, and I just gotta give him props, because ever since then I've been getting a lot more subscribers. And I want to thank you, Jack, and I want everybody that watches me to please go subscribe to his channel, because this dude is funny and he watches a lot of the same stuff that I do, and he really knows his shit about movies. So go check out his channel. Also, check out Beneath the Underground. It is an awesome group, and check out Lair of Terror, another awesome group. Both of them I'm an admin for, so you will get in, I'll add you. But just keep watching the sickness and keeping it real. Take it easy, guys. Bye.